Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Guys, today is a special day. That's right. Well, first of all, it's show number 150, and today's date is September 26th, 2016, and today is the first presidential debate. And I want to tell you, the way everything's going, this is going to be unbelievable. So in anticipation of what's going to happen, I'm naming this show Debate-Gate. So I asked Uncle Joey, I said, Uncle Joe, I said, do you have anything that you want to say, that I can put on for the show? And he said, Rich, how do you know it's going to be a problem? How do why do you think that something is going to happen? Why do you think something's going to go wrong? I said, Joe, whenever Trump is involved with something, this is when the shenanigans begin. And if you think he's going to keep a low profile for 90 minutes, it ain't going to happen. Now, either Hillary's going to fall off the stage and collapse, or Trump is going to walk off the stage. I'm telling you, something is going to happen. But, that'll remain for tonight. But Joe said to me, and guys, I love Uncle Joey. And, oh, by the way, my daughter's getting married this coming Friday, and Uncle Joe's going to be at the wedding. So we're going to have a lot of fun. But, tonight we're going to talk mainly about Trump and the debate. But, what's going to happen is I have a feeling that there's going to be a sort of a meltdown. And, the first question that I would ask if I was on the stage, the most important thing to me is global warming. And I want to hear now, Trump has emphatically said it's a Chinese hoax. And we're going to play a clip tonight that shows you where Trump stands on this issue. We're going to have a lot of fun because tonight we're going to show you how they've been prepping for the debate and how Tony Schwartz, the guy that wrote the book, and remember we did a show about 6 or 7 shows ago from Tony Schwartz, who wrote The Art of the Deal, because Trump never wrote The Art of the Deal. And tonight we're going to talk primarily about Trump's lies. But like I said, I would love to see them start with global warming. And why? Because global warming is science, right, Uncle Joe? Something that we can prove, something that is measurable. Not only can we measure the temperature of the air, but we can measure the temperature of the oceans, the acidifications. There's so many different ways we can measure it and prove it. And this is what this is why I would love for Hillary to start with this so the simple folk get it through their mind that you can't fool Mother Nature. It's that simple. But guys, when I said that there was going to be a meltdown, a few shows ago, we played a clip from Alex Jones, and he does a show called InfoWars. And guys, I started to watch this clip, and at first, I didn't know if he was acting or not. But as the clip went on, I said to myself, this guy's going to have a heart attack. I thought he was going to pop. And when you see him with the handkerchief and the sweat dripping down, and I'm telling you, this guy is off the track. He's unhinged. He makes Trump, he makes Trump look reasonable. But guys, you're not going to believe it. So we're going to play the whole clip. And you can just watch this whole thing devolve. So Judy, let's have clip number 1, please.
In Homeland Security, they're not allowed to call a terror attack a terror attack. They're not allowed to call a mosque a mosque. They're not allowed to call a Muslim a Muslim. They're not allowed to call an Al-Qaeda person or an ISIS person by their name under federal regulations, or they get reprimanded or fired. I mean, we've had the whistleblowers on. We ought to have them back on. Imagine that. This is the level of control. You think they're just telling us don't use the word Muslim or bomb or terror attack? That's what the FBI is told. That's what Customs is told. That's what it is to live in a mind control country where they tell you what language to use. Because the sickening globalists and George Soros are allied with radical Islam and are taking over 23 countries as we speak, taking them over. The West is only in a destabilization program right now. We aren't to that point yet. But in Sweden and Germany and France, they're putting ads on saying, you are demoralized, you are dead, you are over, give up to the Hajib, give up to Muhammad and Allah. Allah Akbar, we're going to stab your daughter at the mall. We're going to stab your wife, your son. We're going to stab you with a butcher knife. And then the police chief's going to get up and say, we love our Somalis. We love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good. Oh, they're so sweet. I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning, and they had the police chief on making excuses from that town in Minnesota. And they had the Fox News host, this is the Fair and Balanced channel, going, Donald Trump really stepped in at this time. He said it was a bombing before it had officially been called a bombing, and Hillary's on him, and she's got some really good points. Fox is where MSNBC was 2 or 3 years ago. Now MSNBC is foam at the mouth deception and is so filled with hate of you and your family, they can't even control it. I mean, you look at the body language of Rachel Maddow. She is in a sport, a death sport. She wants to conquer you. She hates Christians. They had a former top diplomat come out last week and say, who hadn't even really been a Christian, he says, man, I'm not even a right-winger or a big Christian. I'm telling you, we got to pull the article. We got to have that guy on. He said, we're taking Russia down because they're Christian, period. Hollywood runs the U.S., and they hate Christians. I mean, I'm telling you, people, this is sick. The leftists hate Christians so much that they will literally burn this country down if they need to get full control. It's like George Soros in his emails is talking about how to bring Israel down. You can say what you want about Israel. Israel's done some oppression, done some bad things, but they're fighting people that want them exterminated. What do you expect? Then there's the argument, well, you know, Israel didn't have that area for 1,000 years. Okay, but I mean, the Jews were in the Middle East at one point. Then people argue, oh, there's no Jews. Those aren't real Jews. Then they do the DNA test and test the bones. It's the same damn people, you know, mixed with Europeans. It doesn't even matter. I've never even been some Israel firster. But that's back when the globalists were trying to stir up the Middle East. I was trying to stop this clash of civilizations. They've done it. They've radicalized the Muslims. They've blown the doors open. The borders are open. The Mediterranean's open.
Build a wall.
Georgia's open.
Build a wall.
Albania's open.
Albania.
Macedonia's open.
Macedonia.
Turkey's open. Millions are pouring in. People
Oh my God,
the
they're
very
coming
worst
in
type.
from
They kill each
Macedonia.
other. Do you understand? It's an attack. It's red level. It doesn't matter
Red
now.
level.
You got to choose sides at this
Joey,
point.
check under your bed. There's reds under
Globalists
your
have overrun
bed.
us. There's not 100,000 people they brought in. They brought in 100,000 Somalis in the last year or two. Oh. They're now admitting that in the news. I told you it's not 100,000 total. It's hundreds of thousands per country. It's millions. They're everywhere. You got to warn people. You understand? I don't fundamentally hate Muslims and want to kill them. I tried to stop those wars.
You don't hate Muslims?
To contain it and try to reform those countries with earlier policies our government had under Eisenhower. But those policies to stabilize the Middle East, put women in college, and take them out of the dark ages have been blown wide open by the neocons and the Democrats and George Soros. They are putting the very worst, bloodthirsty, creepy weirdo dudes in white pajamas that have sex slaves in control with trillions of dollars. And I will be, you know what? I will go to hell before I sit here and I watch this country and the world turned over to these savages. I'm done, I'm pissed, and I'm not putting up with it anymore.
Holy
let me tell you something,
mackerel.
you filthy traitors
He's
of the
gonna
government,
pop.
you pieces of crap. You are the most degenerate, twisted, mentally ill people I've ever seen, wanting to gang rape this republic and this country and the West that has been the literal cornerstone, the absolute jewel in the crown of free Western Renaissance societies and the very best literature, music, technology, science, medicine, culture the world's ever seen. You Satanists want to sacrifice the West. You want to kill the beautiful goddess that is the West. You people are enemies, and we're going to get your asses, and we know what you're up to, and we're coming for you. So I've had enough of these people. Okay, so I've been containing this for the last week. That's why I've been in here sweating, getting pissed, because I can't handle it anymore.
Take a Valiant. Take a couple of Valiant.
It is an absolute fact that they're coming for all of us, okay? And I have just come to that realization, and I am so pissed at the
Uncle
filth
Joey,
that runs
they're
our
coming
government.
for
And I'm
us,
even more
Uncle Joey. They're coming
pissed
for you, Uncle
at the
Joey.
collaborators in our media and our military and our police forces and in the general population that can't see a total takeover when it's staring you in your eyeballs. It's not like it's some threat coming from 1,000 miles away. It's not like it's over the hill and around the dale. It's here. Let me start over. Excuse me. We have launched an information warfare against the globalists trying to wake people up.
I'm expecting this guy to
Proven we
start
know exactly what
foaming
their
at
battle
the
plans are. And
mouth.
hackers have gotten all their information, and it's exactly what we told you they were doing, because most of these globalists have already written books and brag about 95% of what they're doing. We've just got the other 5% of what they're planning, and it just completes our worst nightmares. So there's no going back. There's no discussion of this. We all know the truth now, and you either choose the side of liberty and freedom or you choose the side of the New World Order, allied with the stinking, filthy, third world, woman-raping, ass-wiping with their... excuse me. I'm going to have to go off air, okay? I've been holding this back, not blowing up on air for a few weeks. I'm sure you've noticed. I've been trying to control myself, trying to be professional about this. But at a certain point, I'm just really getting pissed.
You're melting down and you think you're professional.
I'm pissed about the attack on language, the attack on reality, the attack on common sense. I am so sick of these people. But I'll tell you the good news. That lying witch, Hillary Clinton, is on her last legs. And so thank you, God. Thank you for the hand of doom coming against her. I don't wish her any harm, but I wish you to have judgment on Hillary Clinton.
Thank you,
I want everyone to pray
Which
for
God?
judgment on Hillary Clinton. Let's pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, please help us to be strong and help us to protect the innocents. And please help us to rebuild this nation.
God is a
And we
man,
repent for how
okay.
evil we've been, but please, 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 please don't put us into the hands of these people, for God's sakes. Please, I know we've killed 50 million babies. We're so horrible, but
Hey,
my
can
God,
you pray away
this country's trying to
global
wake up.
warming
We just,
for us?
please let us not be
I mean,
taken
as long as
control
you
of by the filth
pray.
of the planet.
Come on, pray
Amen.
away global warming. That up, boy. That looks
Oh, my God.
serious.
Let me tell all the scum and all the leftists, you're going to lose all your jobs soon. The whole mainstream media is dying. We're going to be in a huge depression. You're going to be living in your mother's basements, and I hope your little fake liberal culture you've got that's totally fascist and satanic, I hope it keeps you warm at night, because that's all you're going to have, and it's all you're ever going to have, okay? I just hope you understand that. Now, get back to what I was saying. We have, ladies and gentlemen, a new app that has a lot of great features.
So
and you go
after
to
he scared the hell out of everybody,
to get it for free.
now he wants to sell him something. Guys, these people have no shame. I mean, how is this possible? I mean, this is all they think about is their pocketbook. And Uncle Joey's probably bringing up the app right now. And this is the way the conservative mind works. When they look stuff up, they look it up on conservative sites. So they always keep hearing the same thing. They keep hearing the same dog whistles. And guys, you know, with the debate, Clinton said that she was going to have Mark Cuban You know, the billionaire who owns the basketball, the Dallas Maverick basketball team. They're going to have him in the front row. And he believes in profit sharing. Well, Trump said that he was going to bring Jennifer Flowers and have her. I didn't even know who she was, but you know, I wasn't involved in politics years ago. But Trump was going to bring her, and it turns out that Clinton supposedly had an affair. And I said, oh, mama, this is going to turn out to be the Jerry Springer show. We better keep our eye on Geraldo and make sure he doesn't have access to any chairs. But guys, the next clip is with Kellyanne Conway, and she's talking about tonight's debate. And guys, the best way to explain what she had to say is just listen to it yourself. So Judy, clip number 2, please.
Perhaps I will put Jennifer Flowers right alongside of him. Afterwards, Jennifer Flowers, who infamously had an affair with then Governor Bill Clinton, sent a text message to the New York Times saying, quote, yes, I will be there. Can you confirm if Jennifer Flowers is going to be at the debate as a guest of Mr. Trump?
No, I cannot confirm that, and I can't believe how easily baited the Clinton campaign was. Basically, Mr. Trump was saying, look, if Mark Cuban's going to send out these texts that say the humbling at Hofstra and this is his big downfall, then Mr. Trump was putting them on notice that we could certainly invite guests that may get into the head of Hillary Clinton. But we have not invited her formally, and we don't expect her to be there as a guest of the Trump campaign. I did think it was really odd, just one day after Hillary Clinton was rebuffed by a Democratic mayor of Charlotte to please not come to Charlotte, not divert resources and not come at this time, then they exercised poor judgment the very next day by putting out a statement by the Clinton campaign about Jennifer Flowers and what this meant with Donald Trump, that he shows he's easily provoked. No, the easily provoked people here were the Clinton campaign. So it's very poor judgment. But look, we're going to talk about the issues that face America. That's what the debate is. I can understand why Hillary Clinton wants a billionaire in the front row. That's just another Monday night for her. But we're going to talk, we're taking the case directly to the American people tomorrow night.
Just as a point of fact, I think both Trump and Clinton were talking about visiting Charlotte, and the mayor said that they didn't have the resources for either one to visit. But I think it's curious, and probably a lot of viewers are wondering, you think that what's odd is the Clinton campaign's reaction to Donald Trump tweeting about somebody that her husband had an affair with decades ago, not the fact that Donald Trump tweeted something about someone that the nominee's husband had an affair with decades ago.
It seems odd. It seems odd that they would give it life and breath, since you just said 3 times in a row that Governor Clinton had an affair with her. I didn't say it, but now a lot of Americans who didn't know who Jennifer Flowers was.
Did he not? Donald Trump gave it life. No, he's the one that brought it up.
Well, and they could have left it at that. What he said was, if she's going to do this as a way to bait him, then perhaps, if it was in his tweet, perhaps he'll invite Jennifer Flowers there, or have her sit in the front row. But
all right. Guys, don't try to adjust your sets. The problem is with us. Oh, and then my microphone just fell, so... So we're just having fun over here. But guys, you know, with Kellyanne, I don't know how she can do it. I honestly don't, know how you can defend Trump like that. I mean, Trump is like, wow, it's like when you have a bad dog, like when the dog chews up the couch, what do you say, But guys, the next clip is going to be from Tony Schwartz, the guy that wrote the book, The Art of the Deal for Trump. And they were asking Tony, what's the best way to get under Trump's skin? And if anybody knows, it's going to be the guy that wrote the book, not the guy that read the book. Am I right? So let's see what Tony Schwartz has to say in this interview on how to give Donald Trump the business. Judy, clip number 3.
I'm preparing somewhat like I prepared for the other debates. I think I'm preparing. I enjoyed the debating process. Obviously I did well in the debates, according to the polls, the online polls.
Is someone playing Hillary in your
No.
Joining us now, Tony Schwartz, co-author of Donald Trump's best-selling book, The Art of the Deal. Tony, I want to get to this debate stuff, but I want to talk about a little breaking news that's happening at this hour, and it's on the Donald Trump relationship with Florida's Attorney General Pam Bondi. We knew about the $25,000 contribution. We are now learning that he then hosted a fundraiser for her at Mar-a-Lago some months after that first one, the first contribution. And so, what is your reading of the transactional nature of this kind of thing for Donald Trump when he's got a Florida Attorney General's office announcing we might join this case against Trump University?
I mean, it's pretty simple. He's a transactional man, and he's always doing something that he thinks could serve his self-interest, and bribing politicians is something he's explicitly said. You, I think, ran a clip earlier. He's explicitly said he does, and he says it's a problem with the system, but not with his taking advantage of the system in the most extreme ways.
And then it is also quintessentially Trumpian that when we show him a transactional case like this, that this is the one where he says, oh, no, there was nothing transactional about this at all, after having told us in the primaries that every single one of his political contributions was transactional.
Because he lies without thinking. I mean, that's what he does. If you raise something that he doesn't have an answer to, then he says it's not true.
Yeah.
Period.
How will this work in the debate scene for him? Tomorrow night he's going to be doing a half an hour on commander-in-chief issues. He'll go after Hillary Clinton. There was a coin toss today, which he won, so he chose to go second after he gets to hear what Hillary Clinton says. He was very good today in front of an audience that loved him about not answering any questions about the commander-in-chief role, asked smart questions asked to him by a general, former General Flynn. Is he going to play an evasive non-answer game and filibuster? How do you expect?
Well, he's not actually capable of filibustering because he doesn't have enough content in his head to actually filibuster.
But he pours out an enormous amount of words without content, though.
With tremendous amounts of repetition.
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, I think he is, as we all know, he's a counterpuncher, so he's going to be looking for what she goes after. I think the best way to deal with Donald Trump in a debate is to give him back his own words. I mean, he can say on a press plane that he's not going to comment on the birther issue anymore, but he can't say that in a debate. And if he does say it, it's an opening that's wide. It's a wide opening for Hillary Clinton.
You've been watching the televised debates, presidential debates, for decades. You know Donald Trump. You've been watching him for decades. Do you think the debate format will be able to corral him?
No, actually, I do not think you can corral him. I think what you hope to do is to get under his skin and to unnerve him. He doesn't show up as unnerved. He simply says something that becomes an obvious soundbite because it's so outrageous and off the wall. So what you hope he'll do is he'll say something equivalent to what he said about the cons, or he'll say something equivalent to what he said about McCain. And if he feels humiliated, what we know about Donald Trump is he will always double down. So if he feels that he's been caught, he will double down and make it worse. Mm-hmm. So it's his own words that, to me, are the greatest opportunity during this debate. It's what he said about McCain. It's what he said about the cons. It's what he said about knowing more than the generals. You have a list, and in fact, I think for Hillary, the challenge will be to choose wisely among the opportunities, among the choices, which of those she wants to put in front of his face. And that's not giving away anything about strategy, because those words already exist, and there's nothing he can do to take them back except to deny that he said them in the first place, which we know he's capable of doing. And so, the fact that Chris Wallace went and said he was not going to fact check during the debate, I think, gives an opportunity for an awful lot of other people to fact check during this debate. What we know is, between Google and the reality of or the likelihood that Trump won't be saying things that are true, there's a tremendous opportunity to very quickly respond to where he is clearly not telling the truth, where he's lying.
So we could expect, I would think you would expect, that the Clinton campaign will be able to harvest material out of the debate that gets turned around into 30-second TV ads very quickly.
Well, I do, but I also think they can harvest, if we're in the harvest game, I think they can harvest a tremendous amount of material from long before the debates over the last year and a half.
Yeah. Tony Schwartz, thank you very much for joining us with your insights to Donald Trump. Really appreciate it.
Guys, that's what Hillary has to do. She has to poke the bear. Keep poking him. I don't think it's going to take too many pokes before you rile him up. But what he always does is he always doubles down. And he refuses to admit he's wrong. Right, Uncle Joey? Uncle Joey's the same way. They refuse to admit they're wrong. And, this leads to the question of, should we have fact-checking? Should the moderators fact-check? Because everybody's going to be on Google, and everybody's going to be on Twitter and Facebook, and everyone's going to be looking to see how many times Trump lies. Now, to a lot of people, especially people like Uncle Joey, they don't care. If Trump lies to them, they don't care. They would vote for him if he shot somebody on Fifth Avenue. Why? Because these are the simple folk. These are the people that watch The Duck Hunter and believe in Bigfoot. And when half the population is like that, guess what? We need fact checkers. So, Judy, let's have clip number 4, please.
That they think it's the job of the moderator basically to get out of the way, just ask the questions.
Well, all that we're asking is that if Donald Trump lies, that it's pointed out. It's unfair to ask for Hillary both to play traffic cop with Trump, make sure that his lies are corrected, and also to present her vision for what she wants to do for the American people.
But isn't that what a debater is supposed to do?
Well, I think Donald Trump's special. We haven't seen anything like this. We normally go into a debate with two candidates who have a depth of experience, who have rolled out clear, concrete plans, and who don't lie, frankly, as frequently as Donald Trump does. So we're saying this is a special circumstance, a special debate, and Hillary should be given some time to actually talk about what she wants to do to make a difference in people's lives. She shouldn't have to spend the whole debate correcting the record.
And then you do want to talk mostly about Hillary Clinton and her plans. How do you get over that huge hurdle right now, that overwhelming number of Americans who don't see her as honest?
Well, look, George, first of all, I'm glad you asked this question because it's been out there a lot. Hillary has recognized that she has a lot of work to do to earn people's trust. And as we were discussing, we think this debate is a fantastic opportunity for her to present not just what she is going to do to make a difference in people's lives, but she actually has a long history of getting this done. People can absolutely trust her to make a difference in their lives. They can't trust Donald Trump to do the same thing.
And what's the number one point you want to make tomorrow night about Donald Trump?
Well, look, like I said, this is the time for the voters to pick a president. We're going to have a lot of people really tuning into this election for the first time. They're going to see these two candidates on stage. I think they are going to see that Donald Trump is unfit, unprepared, and over his head. I doubt he will have a command of the issues. I certainly...
So you think he'll take care of the debate by himself? Is that what you're expecting from Donald Trump?
Well, I think Hillary's going to have to press the point. I think that she's going to have to at times challenge him to reveal what his plans are. For example, he has not revealed any plan whatsoever to defeat ISIS. He says it's a secret and that he knows more about it than the generals do. This is a time for him to present those plans, and maybe he will, but we'll have to see.
Been a little bit of psychological warfare going on. You guys invite Mark Cuban to the debate. Donald Trump responded with this tweet yesterday saying, if dopey Mark Cuban of failed benefactor fame wants to sit on the front row, perhaps I'll put Jennifer Flowers right alongside of him. Jennifer Flowers has tweeted the New York Times saying she's going to be there.
You know, this debate is supposed to be about issues. It's supposed to be about how these candidates are going to make a difference in their lives. It's a time for them to reveal their plans. If this is what Donald Trump wants this debate to be about, that's up to him. He is a reality TV star. He's very experienced at providing television entertainment. The presidency is not about entertainment.
So you don't care if Jennifer Flowers is there?
That's Donald Trump's decision.
Guys, what's the one thing we always say on this show? Be specific and cite your sources. And you know what? I really feel the moderator should call out when somebody lies or is being deceptive. I mean, let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. If you lie, let's, make him put his cards on the table. Or if she lies, make her put her cards on the table. But, Hillary's been getting bashed for so long, it really seems like it doesn't matter. But, guys, the next source we're going to show you is a very trusted source that you put always in the same sentence when it comes to the Republican Party. And this is going to be Shepard Smith, one of the Foxstitutes at Fox News, but I know you're going to have to sit down for this one. He's actually going to point out the amount of times that Trump has lied. I know. Trump lying on Fox TV. It's like those words don't go together in the same sense, but we're going to play it for you. And guys, when you see it, you're going to see how much fun this debate's going to be. So, Judy, let's have clip number 5, please.
I have great judgment. I have good judgment. I know what's going on. I've called so many of the shots. And I happened to hear Hillary Clinton say that I was not against the war in Iraq. I was totally against the war in Iraq.
He told Howard Stern he was in support of the war. That was very early in the campaign. And now he wants us to erase that from the history books. And when we don't, it's our fault for misrepresenting what is actually a fact.
I have looked so long and hard for any evidence.
I'll give it to you. 2004, they had newspaper articles.
Right, but the war started in 2003.
Hillary Clinton wants to abolish the Second Amendment. She wants to abolish it.
She has never said she wants to abolish the Second Amendment.
You made some very bold claims about her that didn't stand up when we put it.
Well, you don't know if they stand up. What claim are you talking about?
Well, let's talk about your claim that she was asleep during the Benghazi attack. There's no evidence that she was asleep.
It happened all during the day and during...
I saw in parts of New Jersey, I saw people getting together and in fairly large numbers celebrating as the World Trade Center was coming down.
You know, the police say that didn't happen, and all those rumors have been on the internet for some time. So did you misspeak yesterday?
It did happen. I saw it. It was on television.
You saw that with your own eyes?
You're doing a Ted Cruz, what you tried to do to President Obama, where he was born, his birth certificate.
Who knows about Obama?
His mother was a U.S. citizen, born in Kansas. So was he a natural-born citizen?
Who knows? Who knows? Who cares right now? The whole thing is very strange.
He finally acknowledged he's got a brand new position, that he now does, in fact, believe that the President of the United States, Barack Obama, was indeed born in the United States.
So you tell me, who's better for the gay community and who's better for women than Donald Trump? Believe me.
The charade that Donald Trump somehow is a huge supporter of LGBT rights. He said it again and again and again. This is a guy who has said fundamentally that he wants to overturn the single biggest civil rights decision ever in the history of the LGBT movement.
I mean, look at who he picked as his VP. I mean, Governor Pence
is no friend to the LGBT community. Well, he doesn't want to have transgender bathrooms. He believes in funding conversion therapy, which to that community is one of the most insidious and dangerous things there is.
And I'm afraid the election's going to be rigged. I have to be honest.
People are going to walk in, they're going to vote 10 times maybe. Who knows?
How many cases of voter fraud, true voter fraud, did you find in what period of time?
31 allegations, and these are only allegations, of vote fraud between 2000 and 2014. 31 out of 1 billion votes cast.
You have no idea who the people are. They have no papers. They have no paperwork. You can get forged documents very easily in Syria.
The administration says that each refugee goes through extensive background checks by multiple agencies. In fact, David, they say that process takes 18 to 24 months before a refugee can set foot in the United States.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
The last time I checked, 2 studies. One from the American Immigration Council says that immigrants are less likely to be criminals than those born in the United States. And the Immigration Policy Center said the following: immigrants as a whole have lower crime rates than the native-born population.
You also made the claim that her personal email server had been hacked, suggesting that as
You
president...
don't know that it hasn't been.
Wait a minute, but suggesting that she would be compromised as president. What evidence do you have? Is there any evidence that it was hacked other than routine phishing
I think
attacks?
I read that and I heard it, and somebody that also gave me that information. I will report back to you. I'll give it to you.
But you said it with such certainty yesterday.
I don't know if certainty.
Let's talk about Donald Trump's tax records.
I am under audit now, and as soon as the audit ends, I'll release my return. Almost every lawyer will tell you the same thing. When you're under audit, you finish the audit before you release. I have no problem. And it should be, and I hope it's before the election.
But the IRS has said that he can release it. They will not punish him. Lots of tax attorneys have said he can release it. He will not be punished.
How about this, the unemployment rate?
Don't believe those phony numbers when you hear 4.9 and 5% unemployment. The number's probably 28, 29, as high as 35. In fact, I even heard recently 42%.
He's heard people say that it's 40%. It's not 40%. The unemployment rate is 4.9%. The unemployment rate measures people who have a job or are looking for a job. What he's talking about are all the people who aren't looking. And there are a lot of reasons, Chris, why people aren't looking. My grandma's not looking for a job because she's 88.
We can provide 6 weeks of paid maternity leave to any mother with a newborn child whose employer does not provide the benefit.
It's not a maternity leave policy that should be called paid maternity leave. It's not based on what your income was. In many states, the maximum is going to be a little over $1,000 a month. And second, who pays for it are the newly unemployed. He's taking the money out of unemployment insurance and diverting it to the maternity leave. It absolutely makes no sense.
Pay the Clinton Foundation huge sums of money and throw in some big speaking fees for Bill Clinton, and you got to play. You got to do what you wanted to do.
He has no evidence that shows that money given by donors to the Clinton Foundation then resulted in actions by the State Department that favored those donors.
It should be noted that Donald Trump and Ivanka Trump both donated to the Clinton Foundation themselves.
Ford has announced just yesterday that they're moving their small car production facilities to Mexico. To think that Ford is moving its small car division is a disgrace.
He seemed to indicate that those jobs would be leaving the United States for Mexico. Ford put out a statement and said, yes, we are opening a plant in Mexico, but that plant in Wayne, Michigan that was making these cars is just going to start making other cars. Ford says not a single job will be lost there.
West Virginia, and we're going to get those miners back to work. I'll tell you what, we're going to get those miners back to work.
He's talked about coal miners bringing their jobs back. The reality, according to experts, though, is that many of those jobs just aren't functional in a modern economy.
Mexico will pay for the wall.
There is no way that Mexico can pay a wall like that. I'm not going to pay for that fucking wall.
Guys, what do you think? They got to call him out, right? And did you notice? One of the guys that was questioning Trump was Lester Holt, who will be chairing the debate tonight. So Trump tried to lie to him, and Trump said that Hillary was sleeping during the Benghazi attack, and Lester Holt said, "No, she wasn't. It happened at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. She wasn't sleeping. And then Trump said something else, and I didn't write it down. But Lester Holt called him out on it, and Trump said, well, I'll get back to you with that information. Guys, guess what? Tonight he's not going to be able to get away with that henhouse bullshit. No, that crap ain't going to float in the toilet at Hofstra. Nah. Tonight he's going to get called out, and I tell you, the next clip, Trump is so bewildering that even Pence, his running mate, can't keep up with him. And here's a clip with Chris Wallace. And guys, I want you to pay attention to how Chris Wallace keeps trying to ask him, would you please answer the question? Yeah. But answer the answer. And guys, watch how he keeps shucking and jiving. He's like OJ. He's putting on the moves. And Chris Wallace wouldn't let him get away with it, but eventually he skated, because that's what these guys do. Watch how he shucks and he jives. So, Judy, let's have clip 6, please.
Question, and one final issue. The Washington Post reported this week that the Trump Foundation paid out $250,000, more than $250,000 to settle various lawsuits against Trump and Trump businesses. Now, Governor, as I'm sure you know, there are laws against what's called self-dealing, where a charity spends money for the personal benefit of a person or his businesses.
Well, I think the Trump Foundation has responded to those questions and will continue to answer any issues that arise. I know that the Washington Post reporting on this has been very, very sketchy. They've been found to be factually incorrect on a number of bases.
Well, no, but
I'm sure the Trump family and the foundation welcomes that.
Sir, if I may, let me ask you about one specific case, and that is the case of the flag in Mar-a-Lago. The city of Palm Beach sued Mar-a-Lago because they had a flag that exceeded zoning barriers. There was a settlement under which Mar-a-Lago, the for-profit club run by Donald Trump, is going to pay $100,000 to a charity. Number one, he didn't pay it, the club didn't pay it, the foundation paid it, and secondly, Donald Trump hasn't contributed a dime to his own foundation since 2008. What kind of a charity is that, sir?
Well, I know that the Trump Foundation, the family, can answer all of those questions about that specific instance and others, and they have. I think the American people are even more interested in the Clinton Foundation.
They have not explained, sir. The Washington Post has asked them. They have not explained how it was the foundation that ended up spending money instead of either Trump or Mar-a-Lago. They also haven't explained why he hasn't contributed any money since 2008.
Well, look, these answers are all fair game, Chris, but I just wish there was as much interest in the activities of the Clinton Foundation, that we know accepted tens of millions of dollars from foreign countries and foreign donors who were then given access to Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State. I mean,
guys, see how we push back at the end? He's got to push back against the Clinton Foundation. He couldn't answer the question. You know, he said, well, the family will, the Trump family will be able to answer all those questions, but he couldn't. He couldn't answer them, but the Trump family will. And then he said, well, you know, there are laws. And doesn't Trump want to be the commander-in-chief of law and order? So what's the first thing he's going to do if he gets elected? Lock himself up? Hey, guys, I tell you, he's just so much fun. And, you know, if there's one thing I would love to find out about Trump, it's his taxes. But the next clip we're going to play, we're going to show you Hillary's taxes and what she plans on doing. So, Judy, let's have clip number 7, please. taxes on the top 1%. Uh-oh. The Koch brothers ain't gonna like that. Corporate America's gonna go nuts. She'd eliminate the carried interest. Uh-oh. Raise the estate tax. No, she raised it to 65, guys. Crack down on corporate inversions. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What is she doing? That's un-American. You want to get Americans to pay taxes? And then she would an exit tax. What could be better? Clinton would limit child care expenses
You
to
get a
10%.
hold of Donald Trump's
She raised the
plan
cap
for
on
the
income
taxes
subject
of
to
this
Social
country.
Security taxes.
It
That a
is
girl?
trickle-down economics on
Asking the
steroids.
wealthy to contribute more. Unbelievable. So she wants corporate America and the 1% to pay more? You mean to pay their fair share? And guys, what does Trump have to say when it comes to income taxes? What does he have to say look at this. Trump says, the IRS told me I can't release my taxes. The IRS said, we can't prohibit anyone from releasing their taxes, even during an audit. It's a personal choice. Crooked Trump refuses to release taxes, even from previous years that are not under audit. So who's the liar? Judy? Guys, the next clip we're going to do, it gets even better. It's on Hillary and climate change, and then we're going to show you Trump and climate change. So, Judy, let's have number 9, please. Clip 9. There we go.
And the United States will then lead in dealing with the very real problems of climate change.
By the end of my first term, I want us to have installed 500 million more solar panels, and by the end of my second, enough clean energy to power every home in America.
Atta girl. That's what we want. Look at those turbines.
It
US
is
are generating enough
imperative that we
renewable
look
energy.
at the Keystone Pipeline as what I believe
Keystone
it is, a
Pipeline.
distraction from the
What are you,
important work
nuts?
we have to do to combat climate change.
That'll never happen. We would cut oil
We're going
and
to put a
gas
lot of coal
company
miners
subsidies.
and coal
Oh,
companies
forget
out of
that.
business.
She promised
We
to
need
put
to
coal
invest in
companies out
creating
of
more
business.
good-paying jobs here in
They're going to
Appalachia.
put themselves out of
We
business.
know this
It's
region
too
is rich in
expensive.
assets far beyond coal.
Imagine that. She wants to do something about global warming and climate change. What does Trump think about global warming? He thinks it's a Chinese hoax. So, Judy, let's prove it with clip number 10, please.
Under my presidency, we'll accomplish a complete
Trump wants the U.S. to be completely energy independent.
Complete.
And for those miners, get ready because you're going to be working your asses off, all right? Thank you, everybody.
Working your asses off building wind turbines.
But the people of the United States should be given a piece, significant piece of the profits. That's how we're going to make our country rich again. Just one way out of thousands, but that's how we're going to make our country rich again. Our total untapped oil and gas reserves on federal lands equal an estimated $50 trillion. Think of that. We're loaded. We didn't even know it. We're loaded. We had no idea how rich we were. We're going to cancel the Paris Climate Agreement.
Guys, you heard him say at the end that he'd cancel the Paris COP21 climate agreement. Well, I got a news flash for the Donald. You're not going to believe this, but Obama went to China. China and the United States have signed on, and they've reached a major milestone. India has now agreed to sign on to COP21. And right now, in order for the carbon cutting rules to go into effect, the proposals have to be ratified by at least 55 countries. Well, guys, 61 countries have now signed up. So they met that threshold. And they have to reach, it has to be ratified by 55% of the world's emission producing countries. And guys, what that does is we were at 47.79. With India coming on board, that brings it to 51.89%. We almost reached it, and another 13 countries have agreed to sign on. So guess what? The Paris 21, the COP21 agreement is going to be put into effect. And countries are going to stand by it, and we're going to make things happen. And your kids are going to thank Obama and the Democratic Party. It's that simple. Because if it wasn't for them, this wouldn't be happening. And guys, the next clip is very, very short. And I want you to hear, you heard Trump say this just a minute ago, but I want you to hear this again because Trump said he wants to share the profits. So Judy, let's have clip number 11, please.
I want the Keystone Pipeline, but the people of the United States should be given a piece, significant piece of the profits. That's how we're going to make our country rich again. Just one way out of thousands, but that's how we're going to make our country rich again.
The people should be given a piece of the profits. Donald, what are you, nuts? The Koch brothers are going to hear nonsense like that and they're going to say, hey, Donnie, forget we don't share nothing with nobody. It's every man for themselves. And when is he going to get this through his mind? No. You don't think the fossil fuel industry has been polluting the planet like they have because they want to share their profits, do you? No. They're using the profits to take away our freedoms. Oh my, the conservatives are going to hear that. Yeah, they're going to take away your liberty and your freedoms when the seas rise and we have less land to live on. Guys, the next clip we're going to play is going to show you how devious Trump supporters can be. And I want you to pay close attention to what this woman says and how she thinks of black people. I want to tell you, this is going to be disturbing, but listen to how she's been brainwashed. And listen, it's like somebody blew the dog whistle. And listen to what, and guys, keep an eye on the guy that's interviewing. Watch his facial reactions. He's going to go off the edge. So Judy, let's have clip number 12, please.
I don't think there was any racism until Obama got elected. That
No
we never had
racism
problems
until
like this,
Obama got elected, huh?
I'm in the real
That's
estate industry.
interesting.
There's none. Now, with the people with the guns and shooting up neighborhoods and not being responsible citizens, that's a big change. And I think that's the philosophy that Obama has perpetuated on America. And if you're black and you haven't been successful in the last 50 years, it's your own fault. I think that when we look at the last 50 years, where are we and why? We have 3 generations of all still having unwed babies, kids that don't go through high school. I mean, when do they take responsibility for how they live? I think it's due time, and I think that's good that Mr. Trump is pointing that out.
All right. So, guys, I had a nice clip that I wanted to play that would show you, actually show you, in facts and figures, so that we could be specific and we could cite our sources, how things have actually improved for the black community. But we're going to run out of time. So maybe, Judy, how much time do we have left? Well, if we got 1 minute, guys, I might as well. Why don't you roll the credits? And then we might as well just talk about the debate tonight. Because I'll tell you, this is going to be earth-shattering. Well, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I just can't believe that America has gotten to this point where we're going to let a huckster and a showman and a P.T. Barnum, imitator try to take over the presidency. And what really bothers me is how the simple folk just rally around them like it's a WWE event. I mean, I could see these people with their signs and everything. And, Trump is just, like I said, he's a huckster. He's a deceiver. And I feel sorry. And, like on the last show, I was saying to everybody, what's more important? Hating Hillary or equal employment for women?
Say goodnight, Reg.
All right, guys. Anyway, tonight is going to be the night. I want everybody to smoke a nice fatty and have a good time. Guys, my daughter's getting married. And guys, we'll see you next Monday. Toodles.
I don't think